Hey, welcome. I didn't think I'd be doing this again this summer, but very smooth confirmation process today. Third time's the charm, and appreciate all the work that the Education Committee did in the last few weeks, vetting Ms. Callahan and getting it ready. I appreciate the governor for making this nomination. I think she'll serve OSU well. Obviously passed a resolution on political violence on the floor as well. We felt it was important just to send a message that the Oklahoma Senate stood resolute against any form of political violence. I think our whole nation was shaken by the events, the recent events at the Trump rally. But we've seen increasing violence around political activities over the last few years, and just we wanted to send a strong message that we stood against that. And I'll take any questions people may have.
What was the difference between Mrs. Callahan and the other two nominees?
So the first nominee, she got through the Education Committee, but then there was a lot of concern raised by outside groups that got to my members about her serving in that capacity. I voted for Ms. Bergen, but I was on the vast minority on that. I don't know exactly what drove everyone's vote on that. Mr. Holder, excellent guy, did a great job as athletic director, but there were two fatal flaws to his nomination, and that he was still deriving some income from OSU, and he didn't derive his income from agricultural related activities, and that would have flipped the board to where the majority did not, and that would have violated Constitution and statutory language. Ms. Callahan is a practicing attorney, but she and her late husband have large agricultural holdings and are definitely qualified to do the role, and I've been impressed with her nomination.
Obviously, you guys are caucusing at 1 to talk about the next Pro Tem designee. Were you surprised that you guys are having to do this again? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, none of us expected Senator McCourtney not to get reelected, and so yeah, it's kind of a weird feeling to come in and do a Pro Tem designee race the second time. But this process for us is a three-step process anyway. This just adds a fourth step to it. Ever since Republicans have been in the majority, in even years we do a designee race in the spring, and then we do one in November at our caucus retreat, and then the official vote is in January. And so this isn't just adding one extra step. Obviously, we thought the caucus felt like Greg McCourtney was well positioned to lead us into the next chapter. Now we have to regroup and find who that next leader is, and we'll be doing that at 1 p.m. today.
You had one member that stuck out a press release today saying it was a political tactic by you to obstruct the vote, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
There were two people that did it, actually.
Oh, okay. I just read one.
Yeah, it's baloney. I mean, when people think they're going to be on the short end of a vote, they're going to try to say it's unfair so they can run again in November at the caucus election. It's unfortunate that they used the rhetoric they did and tried to tie it into the assassination attempt on Trump. It was, if it wasn't so egregious, it would be laughable. But we'll let the vote go the way it goes. There's a contemplation, we'll see, of allowing proxy votes, so no one's vote will not be counted, assuming the caucus adopts that amendment to our rules. We don't allow proxies at the current time, but in order to afford everyone the opportunity to vote, we're trying to allow that today. I think it's fair, above board. Originally, the governor was set to have ceremonial bill signings today and tomorrow. And our rules require a 3-week notice on elections, so we've been given, Chairman Rader's done an excellent job. Everything's been above board. There's been no orchestration. And the vote today will be a strong affirmation of that, whoever wins.
Do you expect a long, drawn-out caucus meeting?
No.
This will be quick.
I don't, unless we get caught up in the rules or the changes, or people want to give speeches. I don't anticipate this being a long process. There's only two people put their name forward, so it should be a one ballot deal and move on down the road.
After this weekend shooting, there was a lot of political rhetoric. Is the shooter Republican? Is the shooter a Democrat? I was wondering, with this resolution here, did you have conversations with your counterparts on the other side of the aisle?
You know, to be honest with you, I did not on this one. I typically always talk to Senator Floyd on everything I do. I have an immense amount of respect for her. I'm proud to be a part of a body in an organization in a Senate that has respected the minority part of our caucus. We work extremely well with Senator Floyd, and her caucus members have a lot of respect for her. I've been at the lake, and I've been at a conference. And so I honestly did not have that conversation with her this time, which I probably should have, but I appreciated the vote on the floor. She's an excellent individual, and we need to tone down this rhetoric. It's about being human beings and the dignity of human beings. If somebody's in help, you shouldn't say, are you a Republican or a Democrat? Do you support Biden or do you support Trump? It's about the humanity. Every single individual we come in contact has an immortal soul, and we need to remember that.
Are you going to go to the Republican National Convention?
No. I have only been to one. It's such a formality these days. I mean, I guess it'd be exciting to hear who he's going to pick for vice president if he announces it. I went to Florida in 2012. Great event. I was a delegate, but I just haven't had a desire to
Rather
go
be
back.
at the lake?
I'd rather be at the lake. I don't really like crowds that much either.
Sorry.
Do what?
Not a balloon
Wait,
No,
how many OU football games have you gone to?
it's an open air and there's,
It's a huge crowd.
but I always have an exit strategy everywhere I go. It comes from having staffing a U.S. Senator. You know, we don't have, in all seriousness, members of Congress, we really need to relook at some security issues. I worked for Tom Coburn for 6 years, and I was, we talked to the U.S. Marshals or the local sheriff's deputy about, especially during the Obamacare debate when we would have 1,000 people show up to our town halls. But having worked and coordinated with the U.S. Marshals enough, there's not a room I go into that I don't have an exit strategy on.
We noticed there was quite a few extra troopers in the building today, some extra security. Was there any, concerns after this week's shooting, or is it just more or less precaution?
I honestly don't know. I wasn't aware of that. When I came in, that didn't seem elevated, so I'm not aware of that. But I'm sure everyone, law enforcement-wise, is stepping up a little bit more just to make sure things are secure. But the troopers do an excellent job when we're in session here, making sure the public and members are safe, and so I appreciate their service, but I honestly had not noticed or I've not been briefed on increased security here.
Any future plans for Greg Treat?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the lake here pretty soon.
With a small crowd?
Yeah. At the lake there may be thousands of people, but they're not right by me. And so I love people, I just love a little bit of distance there. So, no, I appreciate it very much. I think that probably, before I get myself in trouble and Alex gives me the hook, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off unless there's other questions. But hopefully there won't be a special session 5, but if there is, I look forward to seeing you all.
Thank you, Senator.